ReefDudes is sponsored by Ecotech Marine and Bulk Reef Supply. Today we're checking out the Maxspect Gyre 300 series Cloud Edition. What's going on, guys? Devin from ReefDudes. So today we're checking out the new gyre from Maxspect. This is the X350 kind of dual pump Cloud Edition. So I'm really curious to check this guy out. So as you know, Maxspect is the main person that makes all the gyres, kind of the patents on it. So pretty much any other one is basically gonna be one of theirs. So opening up the box, we have some extra parts. We got some little extra color coded things for the left and right. Some washers. We have our cloud controller. We have our two XF350 pumps. These are really cool, the flow director. So these are cool because they'll clip on the edge of the pump and you can kind of use it to direct where you want the flow to go. Got our secondary pump, some mounts, and our power supply. Sine wave technology, near silent. I love that. So there is a QR code to download the app for it. So we'll get that installing. Nice and easy to get. Now these little nets actually look like they're kind of guards for the gyres. And you do have a couple of them, so it gives you some options. Oh, and look at that. Each one of these moves set independently. You can completely move and position different chunks of the gyre flow throughout the tank. That's a really cool feature. So if you have lots of, big colonies, you want to get in specific areas, you most definitely can with this. Now, whenever I'm testing a pump, I always like to see, what can one pump do on my 6-foot tank. I always find that's kind of a good way to compare everything. And so I did just put the single pump up on the overflow wall. It is slightly to the far side. And I just hooked up the one to the cloud controller. And one on the right side, you can see it's currently at 50%. So we're going to set this up and then I guess kind of see what the one pump can do before we add in the second one. So it is a nice screen on this one. It's not on Wi-Fi yet, so we'll try the app in a few. So you got feed mode, quick settings. Those are the different modes. So it's going to be constant or pulse. What the pulse width is, so 0.5, 0.8, 0.2, 6 seconds, 10 seconds, different options. If we go, we got system settings. So for initializing, so the clock, you can say what model each pump is. Wi-Fi settings if you want to join it to your network. System reset, factory reset it, and language. So I'm going to join this one onto my Wi-Fi and we'll see what we can do in the app. Okay, so I'm logged back into the app, asked me to add a device. I will pick the gyre. Okay, so it looks like I found it. Now it wants my Wi-Fi information. Okay, so I can click into a pump. I can pick which mode it is. So we got constant, pulse, graduated pulse, alternating mode, or random mode. So let's just try constant at first. I'm gonna try kicking it up to 100% and just see what the flow looks like in the tank on constant mode. And apply. All right, so now that it's on 100%, let's take a bit of a look at the flow in the tank. Now, this will actually increase and should give more flow as the gyre motion builds up within the tank. It's on the constant mode. But see where we're at so far. So directly below it, we have our clove pull-ups. They're definitely doing a bit of a dance right there. Down below it, the Bernardipora, the little microgonies, same thing. You can see them starting to move from the undertow. Now, all other, my return pump is on low, but all other MP60s, everything else is off right now. If we come down to about 2/3 the way down the tank, and you can see all my gonies, and definitely starting to see them getting pulled back in the flow from the undertow. Same with the torches, not crazy amounts of flow, but they definitely are moving around. Same thing, you can see how much the edge of the torch is kind of curled up from the undertow, sucking it back. So it definitely is doing that bit of a gyre mode in the tank. You can see the rock flowers in this, which is, just shy of 6 feet away from the pump. And we're starting to see a little more movement in the torches. So yeah, so pretty solid flow from the single pump. Now again, we have two of them. In a perfect world, there'd be, one at that side and one at this side. But again, because I got a peninsula, I don't want to put anything on that side. So we're going to play with it and see what we can do with the flow from the far side. But now let's try changing it to a pulsing mode and see what else we can get with it. So let's try a 1-second pulse. Now, one thing to note, if you do the second pulses, you do hear the little zzz. If you do quick pulses, you'll hear the pumps a little bit more. If you're doing a slower pump, it's going to be much quieter because it'll slow down, so you don't hear the changes much. But that being said, it's extremely quiet, but I can hear a little bit. You can really start to see everything kind of waving back and forth, that pulse action. Yeah, so definitely pretty solid flow out of a single pump. Now, of course, so, you know, you can 100% get by with a single pump, but I got two, so I'm going to see how I can fit a second one in, if there's any way to sneak it in onto the overflow wall, and then we'll test that out. So for the second one, I actually decided to try it vertical. So I've never really done a vertical gyre, but I've always been curious. The bottom blades, I have it more shooting at the glass, so it's not directly blasting the coral in front of it. So it kind of shoots off the glass, then kind of bounces back around. So did that, so we got the one in the middle on the center, we got this guy vertical. And now, just to be extra crazy, I decided to plug in the MP60s as well. So now we have the two gyres running on, I believe it's around 50% on random mode. So it kind of ramps up between 10 to 50%, or sorry, 10 to 70%. Let's try that. So we have that, and same thing with the MP60s on Reef Crest. So it is definitely going to be tons of flow in the tank, and being that they're all on random, it's going to just mix it up and, you know, randomize the chaos of flow in the tank, which is great for the corals. So yeah, like in a perfect world, if I didn't have a peninsula tank, I would absolutely have one there, and I'd have one on the opposite side of the tank, or potentially two vertical ones and have water kind of circle the tank in the gyre motion. But when you are having a peninsula tank and your corals grow in nice and thick, you definitely have to think of other flow considerations, you know. When these are tiny frags, not a big deal, but as they literally become a wall, it takes a lot more flow to kind of penetrate it and get throughout the tank. So with the different flow types on random, I think it's going to be a pretty cool solution for now. It might questionably be too much flow if they all ramp up at the same time, but we're going to give it a test for the next little bit and see. Definitely lots of water movement on the surface. I guess I can hear my drains a little bit. That might be the one potential downside if too much water rushes down the drain, but this should be intermittent. Alright, so as for the Gyre Cloud Controller, really nice screen. It's a nice visual. It's cool to see what each pump is doing. You can see each model. You can set the modes. Really cool to be able to do it all through the screen. Also have the app, which is always nice. So if you want, you know, less menus, you can just click on the app and tweak it through there. But overall, really nice package. It's nice to have one power supply, controls both your pumps. You know, it is Wi-Fi, it is cloud controllable, which is pretty cool. Now these little flow directors are a really cool accessory. It is cool how you can direct the flow from out of it. You know, you can, in the pump, you can spin in two different sections, which is cool. So you can control where each quarter of the pump points. And if you want it more left and right, again, you can further control with these. And I think that's a really cool feature with the pumps as well. It's the first time I've seen that on a gyre. Maxspect's always finding a way to innovate, especially with the gyres, which I think is awesome. So yeah, pretty cool pumps overall. I'm pretty impressed with them so far. Again, I'll give you guys an update once I've been running them for a month or two. But yeah, so far, really cool pumps. And it's a great solution for flow. Now, as always, guys, if you got any questions, let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, be sure to hit that like button. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. And I'll catch you guys in the next video.